Did you know that 78% of Americans over 60 are experiencing muscle loss without even realizing it? I was shocked when I discovered this statistic during my decades of research in nutritional medicine. My dear friends, as someone who has dedicated my life to understanding how food affects our aging bodies, I need to share something urgent with you today. Those everyday foods in your kitchen, the colorful cereals your grandchildren love, the sports drinks you might sip after a walk, even some of your favorite snacks, could be silently undermining your health and contributing to those mysterious aches, leg cramps, and weakness you've been experiencing. Last month, I visited my dear friend Richard, a 72-year-old retired engineer in Minneapolis. For decades, he built bridges that could withstand enormous pressure, yet there he was, struggling to lift his own grandson. "I don't understand it," he confessed, his voice trembling slightly. "I was always the strong one in the family. Now I need help opening jars." Richard isn't alone. Perhaps you've experienced that moment of shock when you suddenly couldn't do something that used to be effortless. Maybe it was reaching the top shelf in your kitchen or noticing how the grocery bags feel impossibly heavier than they used to. That sudden realization that your strength is slipping away can be terrifying. Many doctors simply hand you a pamphlet about aging gracefully and suggest you accept these changes as inevitable. But what if I told you that much of this muscle loss isn't just about getting older? It's about what's hiding in your food. While age-related muscle loss is natural, about 0.51% annually after 50, research from the Mayo Clinic shows that for many Americans, the actual rate is closer to 3 to 5% yearly. This accelerated decline isn't normal or necessary. The difference often lies in what we're unknowingly consuming every day. Think about it. Our grandparents aged with dignity and strength. My grandmother was still tending her garden well into her 80s. What changed? Our food supply has been dramatically transformed over the last few decades, filled with chemicals that never existed during most of human history. You might have heard about recent moves to ban certain food additives in America. While politicians debate these issues, I want to focus on what really matters: your health and independence as you age. These artificial ingredients aren't just abstract chemicals with strange names. They're actively working against your body's natural processes, particularly after 60. Artificial food dyes, reddener 3, reddener 40, yellower 5, yellower 6, bluer 1. These synthetic colors don't just make food pretty. Research suggests they may contribute to inflammation throughout your body. For seniors, this chronic inflammation can accelerate muscle breakdown and worsen joint pain. "I used to enjoy those colorful fruit drinks after my morning walk," shares Margaret, 72, from Florida. "I had no idea they contained dyes that might be contributing to my knee pain and muscle weakness. After eliminating them, I noticed a difference within just 3 weeks. High fructose corn syrup, HFCS. This sweetener isn't just empty calories. It's particularly damaging to seniors. HFCS disrupts your mitochondria, those tiny power plants in every cell that become increasingly important as we age. When your mitochondria can't function properly, you experience fatigue, muscle weakness, and even brain fog. Seed oils, canola, soybean, corn oils. These ubiquitous oils create oxidative stress in your body. Think of it like rust forming on your cells. For seniors, this cellular rusting is particularly damaging to muscle tissue and nerve function, potentially contributing to those leg cramps that wake you at night. I understand this information might feel overwhelming. You've been eating these foods for years, trusting they were safe. It's perfectly normal to feel confused or even angry that these ingredients remain in our food supply when other countries have already banned many of them. But I'm not sharing this to frighten you. I'm sharing because knowledge is the first step toward positive change. After 60, our bodies process everything differently. Here's what happens when these harmful ingredients enter your system. They trigger inflammation that specifically targets muscle tissue, accelerating age-related muscle loss. They interfere with protein synthesis, the very process your body needs to maintain strength. They damage mitochondria, reducing your energy at the cellular level. They affect circulation to extremities, potentially worsening leg cramps and peripheral nerve function. They disrupt gut health, reducing absorption of nutrients critical for muscle maintenance. Dr. Eleanor Richards, a geriatric specialist I've collaborated with for years, explains, "Many seniors come to me complaining of muscle weakness, unexplained fatigue, and persistent leg cramps. When we examine their diets, we often find they're consuming significant amounts of these problematic ingredients without realizing it." The CDC reports that over 40% of Americans above 65 struggle with mobility issues. But what they don't emphasize is how much of this could be prevented through proper nutrition. Let's identify these troublemakers in your kitchen. You might be surprised to find them in products you've trusted for years: foods containing harmful dyes, colorful cereals, Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, sports drinks, Gatorade, especially red and blue varieties, flavored yogurts with bright colors, packaged baked goods with colorful frosting, fruit-flavored snacks, and candies. Foods high in HFCS, soda and sweetened beverages, many breakfast cereals, store-bought sauces, BBQ sauce, ketchup, low-fat products, often high in HFCS to replace fat, canned fruits in syrup, foods containing damaging seed oils, most commercial salad dressings, crackers and chips, fast food and restaurant fried items, packaged cookies and baked goods, margarine and vegetable shortening. I was having lunch with my friend Thomas, 78, last month. He pushed away his plate in frustration, saying, "Jean, I've been doing everything right, taking my medications, trying to stay active, but I still feel weak and tired all the time. My doctor just says it's my age." After reviewing his diet, we discovered he was consuming these harmful ingredients in nearly every meal. 3 weeks after making simple swaps, he called me excitedly. "I actually got up from my chair without using my arms today. First time in 2 years." You might wonder why these ingredients affect us more severely as we age. There are several important reasons. Declining digestive enzymes mean we can't break down artificial ingredients as efficiently. Changes in liver function reduce our ability to filter out toxins. Age-related inflammation is compounded by inflammatory ingredients. Reduced muscle protein synthesis makes every anti-muscle factor more damaging. Diminished thirst perception means we're often slightly dehydrated, concentrating these chemicals in our systems. This is why the same foods your grandchildren seem to tolerate might be causing you significant problems. Your body's protective mechanisms have changed with age. The good news: simple swaps that can restore your strength. Making changes doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. Small, consistent adjustments can lead to remarkable improvements in how you feel. Instead of colorful cereals, try plain oatmeal with fresh berries and a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. Add a boiled egg for protein that supports muscle maintenance. Instead of sports drinks, infuse water with cucumber, lemon, or berries. Try coconut water for natural electrolytes without artificial dyes. Instead of seed oil-based dressings, use olive oil and vinegar with herbs. Try avocado-based dressings. Instead of processed snacks, keep nuts, cheese, and fruit readily available. Prepare cut vegetables with hummus for easy snacking. Martha, 67, from Arizona, tells me, "After decades of struggling with leg cramps that would wake me up screaming at night, I eliminated these harmful ingredients from my diet. Within just 1 month, the cramping reduced by about 80%. My doctor was amazed when I told him what made the difference." Here's something critical that often gets overlooked in senior nutrition. Protein becomes more important as we age, not less. Yet many older Americans are drastically under-consuming this essential nutrient. After 60, our bodies experience anabolic resistance, meaning we need more protein to stimulate the same muscle maintenance response that came easily in our younger years. Unfortunately, many seniors do exactly the opposite. They reduce protein intake just when their bodies need it most. The National Council on Aging recommends adults over 65 consume at least 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, significantly higher than recommendations for younger adults. Yet studies show that over 40% of seniors consume less than even the basic recommendation. When combined with the harmful ingredients we've discussed, this protein shortfall creates the perfect storm for accelerated muscle loss, weakness, and loss of independence. Let me share a straightforward approach that has helped thousands of my senior clients regain strength and reduce those troublesome leg cramps. Morning ritual for muscle preservation. Start with a protein-rich breakfast. Aim for at least 25-30 grams of protein. Add anti-inflammatory ingredients like ginger or turmeric to your morning routine. Stay hydrated throughout the day. Set a timer if needed. Smart protein distribution. Include protein at every meal, not just dinner. Aim for 25-30 grams per meal, approximately the size of your palm. Include leucine-rich foods, eggs, cottage cheese, chicken, fish. Evening routine to prevent night cramps. Light stretching before bed. Magnesium-rich foods with dinner, leafy greens, nuts, beans. Avoid high HFCS foods in the evening hours. Elizabeth, 71, from Pennsylvania, shared, "After following this plan for just 2 weeks, I noticed I could get up from the floor after playing with my grandchildren without needing help. It was like turning back the clock." You might wonder why your physician hasn't mentioned these food connections. Unfortunately, the average doctor receives less than 24 hours of nutrition education during medical school. They're trained to treat symptoms, often with medications, rather than identifying food-related causes. When you experience muscle weakness or leg cramps, the typical response is to prescribe pain relievers or muscle relaxants, addressing the symptom rather than the cause. This is why we need to become our own health advocates. As respected neurologist Dr. David Perlmutter explains, what we put on our plates has more power to determine our health destiny than almost anything else, yet it's the aspect of health that receives the least attention in conventional medical settings. Let me share some inspiring stories from people who've made these changes. Robert, 73, Michigan. After eliminating these harmful ingredients, I regained enough strength to return to gardening, something I thought was behind me forever. The arthritis pain I'd been told to live with decreased by about 70%. Helen, 68, Texas. The night leg cramps that had plagued me for years diminished within weeks of changing my diet. I'm sleeping through the night for the first time in a decade. James, 82, California. My doctor was stunned when my muscle mass actually increased at my age. The only change I made was following this eating approach and ensuring adequate protein. These aren't unusual results. They represent what's possible when we remove harmful ingredients and properly nourish our aging bodies. I understand making dietary changes can feel overwhelming, especially when certain foods have been part of your routine for decades. Let's break this down into manageable steps. Week 1. Awareness. Read labels for the ingredients we've discussed. Document where these ingredients appear in your current diet. Notice any connection between consuming these foods and your symptoms. Week 2. Simple swaps. Replace one category of problematic foods. Start with whichever seems easiest. Increase protein slightly at each meal. Stay mindful of how your body responds. Week 3. Build momentum. Continue replacing problematic foods. Add anti-inflammatory ingredients to your meals. Share what you're learning with friends or family for support. Week 4 and beyond. Refined approach. Customize your approach based on what's working best for your body. Celebrate improvements in strength and comfort. Consider consulting with a nutrition professional who specializes in senior health. Remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Even small changes can yield significant benefits for your muscle strength, energy levels, and overall comfort. Many of my senior clients worry that increasing protein will harm their kidneys. Let me address this common concern. For people with healthy kidney function, higher protein intake is not only safe, but beneficial as we age. The outdated advice to restrict protein often does more harm than good for most seniors. If you do have kidney disease, work with a health care provider to find your optimal protein intake. But don't automatically assume you should restrict this essential nutrient. Quality matters as much as quantity. Focus on eggs, a perfect protein package with critical nutrients. Fish provides protein plus anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Poultry, lean and easily digested. Dairy provides calcium alongside protein. Plant proteins like beans and lentils. Fiber plus protein. Your questions answered. Will changing my diet really make a difference at my age? Absolutely. Your body continues to respond to nutrition changes regardless of age. Many seniors see improvements within weeks, not months or years. Is this going to be expensive? Not necessarily. While some whole foods cost more than processed alternatives, you'll likely save money by avoiding costly snacks and prepared foods. Many seniors also find they spend less on over-the-counter remedies for symptoms that improve with dietary changes. Do I need to eliminate these foods completely? Progress, not perfection, is our goal. Reducing exposure to harmful ingredients will provide benefits, even if elimination isn't 100%. Focus on consistent improvement rather than perfection. What if I have dentures or difficulty chewing protein foods? Consider softer protein options like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, scrambled eggs, fish, ground meat in soups or stews, and smoothies with protein powder specifically formulated for seniors. The future of healthy aging is on your plate. My friends, after decades in nutritional medicine, I've become convinced that what we eat after 60 becomes even more important than what we eat in our earlier years. Your body's ability to compensate for poor nutrition diminishes, but its ability to respond to positive changes remains robust. The decisions you make today about what goes on your plate will directly impact your strength, mobility, and independence in the years ahead. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish your aging body properly. I believe in your ability to make these changes. I've witnessed thousands of seniors reclaim their strength and vitality through simple nutritional adjustments. You can do this too. What small change will you make today? Perhaps checking your pantry for these harmful ingredients, or adding one more serving of protein to your daily routine. I'd love to hear where you're from and what changes you're planning to make. Please share in the comments below. Your experience might inspire someone else on their journey to better health. Remember, healthy aging isn't about turning back the clock. It's about giving your body the tools it needs to function optimally at every stage of life. You deserve to enjoy your golden years with strength, mobility, and freedom from unnecessary pain. Here's to your health and independence, no matter what your age.